Imagine a teenager who steals a backpack being sentenced to 10 years in prison while someone convicted of a violent assault walks free in less than 5. These aren't rare or shocking headlines. They're part of a larger pattern in our criminal justice system where the punishment doesn't always match the crime. That image should make us uncomfortable because it reveals a truth that many people already feel, that our justice system sometimes fails to be just. Today I'll be speaking about the very real consequences of disproportionate sentencing. I'll explore how it undermines fairness, deepens racial and gender and economic inequality, and overburdens our prison system. Most importantly, I'll offer solutions. Solutions that are not only grounded in policy and behavioral science, but are already being used in places across the country to make a better future. Let's begin with the foundation of any justice system: fairness. If people don't trust that the law applies equally to everyone, then the law starts to lose its legitimacy. Yet in the US, people who commit the same crime can receive vastly different sentences depending on factors like their race, gender, income, and even the judge assigned to their case. This is called sentencing disparity, and it's a deeply documented issue. The National Institute of Justice reported in 2023 that racial and ethnic disparities in sentencing persist, even when controlling for the seriousness of the crime and the defendant's criminal history. For example, Black and Hispanic individuals often receive longer sentences than white individuals convicted of the same offense. It's not only racial disparity that matter, economic inequality also plays a role. Wealthier defendants can afford private attorneys who negotiate plea deals and reduce charges, while lower income individuals may rely on overworked public offenders. This difference in legal representation creates unequal outcomes. What we're seeing is not justice. It's inequality baked into the sentencing of legal process. When people witness these kinds of disparities, when one person receives 5 years and another 20 for the same crime, they begin to lose faith in the system. Another major problem in many low-level nonviolent crimes are punished with extreme severity. Mandatory minimum sentences, three-strike laws, and tough-on-crime policies from the 1980s and 1990s still impact how we punish properly. According to the American Civil Liberties Union in 2022, more than 3,000 individuals are serving life without parole for non-violent offenses, many of them drug possession, shoplifting, or similar infractions. That means thousands of people will die in prison for crimes that pose little to no threat on public safety. Let's pause and think about that. If someone steals medication because they can't afford it and ends up sentenced to life in prison, who does that punishment really serve? This isn't hypothetical. In several well-documented cases, people have been sentenced to decades or even life in prison for crimes like stealing a jacket or minor drug possession. Meanwhile, others convicted of violent assault or sexual abuse have been paroled in less than 10 years. The Bureau of Justice Statistics found in 2024 that a significant proportion of the prison population is made up of individuals convicted of non-violent crimes. Our justice system isn't targeting the most dangerous criminals. It's targeting those with the fewest resources. This approach is not only unethical, it's also expensive. Incarcerating someone for a year costs tens of thousands of dollars. Locking up low-risk offenders could benefit from treatment, education, or community-based programs is not only wasteful, but counterproductive. The consequences of disproportionate sentencing extend far beyond the prison walls. Mass incarceration tears apart families, disrupts communities, and perpetuates cycles of poverty. The Pew Research Center published in 2024 shows that 8 in Black Americans believe the justice system is unfairly biased against them. That belief doesn't come from nowhere. It's backed by the data and reinforced by lived experiences. The Sentencing Project reported in 2024 that the U.S. has the highest incarceration rate in the world, with nearly 2 million people in prison or jail on any given day. Many of these individuals are parents, workers, and community members with the right support. Could be rebuilding their lives instead of wasting away behind bars. And what happens to the families they leave behind? Children grow up without parents. Families lose their income. Neighborhoods lose stability. The cycle continues. When low-level offenders are given long sentences, the punishment doesn't stop at the individual. It ripples outward throughout entire communities. So, what do we do about this? We can't just point out our problems. We need to create and implement real-life effective solutions. First, we must eliminate mandatory minimums for nonviolent crimes. Judges should have the discretion to weigh the context of each case, rather than being bound by rigid sentencing rules. This change would help ensure that punishment actually fits the crime. Second, we need to increase investment in diversion programs and alternatives to incarceration, particularly for people struggling with addiction or mental health challenges. Instead of sending these individuals to prison, we should offer treatment, education, and job training. The Zehra Institute of Justice released a report in 2023 documenting how states like New Jersey and Oregon have successfully reduced their prison populations through these reforms without any increase in crime. That's key. These solutions are not only humane, they're effective and safe. Third, we should expand restorative justice systems. These programs focus on repairing the harm caused by crime through dialogue and accountability. Let's return to the image I began with. A teenager imprisoned for stealing a backpack while a violent offender is granted early parole. That's not an outlier. That's a sign that our system is completely broken. This is not just a legal issue, it's a moral one. Justice should never depend on color of your skin, the size of the bank account, or the zip code you live in. Let's stop measuring justice by how many people are behind bars and start measuring it by how many lives we can rebuild. Thank you.